Hi, Shifties. We've got a quick update for you. The Shift podcast is taking a little break for the summer, but don't worry. We'll be back in the fall with all new episodes. In the meantime, we won't leave you hanging. What we'll do is be replaying some of our most popular episodes so you can catch the ones you missed or revisit your favorites. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in the fall. The Shift is brought to you by Joy Metrics. Welcome to The Shift. I'm Dr. Andrea Coyle. Hey there, welcome back, Shifties. Dr. Andrea Coyle here. I'm really excited. I have a great guest today, Kirbee Lawson, coming to us from Biloxi, Mississippi. She is a Daisy honoree, and as you know, this month we are celebrating the Daisy Foundation. We're going to talk about how becoming a Daisy honoree helped shift the mindset for Kirbee. I know it changed for me. You can look back in my office. I'm a Daisy honoree too. So many thanks and love and hugs and kisses out to the Daisy Foundation, Mark and Bonnie and Melissa and Tina and Dr. Deb Zimmerman, the whole crew over at the Daisy Foundation. It's an exciting month for them. It's their 25th anniversary, and we're thrilled to have Kirbee here to talk about her experience as a Daisy honoree. So Kirbee, welcome to the podcast. I'm thrilled to have you here. Tell us and the fellow Shifties that are listening a little bit about you.
Thank you for having me, first of all. It's very exciting. This is not something that I ever expected to ever happen from this, but I am an ortho neuro nurse at Memorial Hospital in Gulfport. I have actually been with the hospital since 2011, and I started as a tech before I became a nurse. So I've only been a nurse for about 2.5 years, but I have learned a lot that's being a tech because I started on the same floor. So it's just been a really great career that I knew I wanted to be a nurse in high school. So it just took the right motivation, and I'm just excited to be a part of this.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. And I just want to share with you and the Shifties out in the crowd, you, like many of us, started off as a nursing technician and nursing assistant. I did the same thing. What happened? What made the shift? Because, you know, this is the Shift podcast. What shifted for you when you went from being the nursing assistant and then you're like, I want to be a registered nurse? Was there someone who inspired you? Was there a patient that touched your life in a different way?
Well, it actually came from a personal experience. I have a grandmother and an aunt that are both nurses, but it came more as a personal experience from me, myself being a patient. I actually have a heart condition, and I got a pacemaker in 2011. And so being a patient, I had a really great nurse and I had a really rough nurse. I'll say that. And I just knew that when I went to nursing school and I became a nurse, I did not want to be a rough nurse. I wanted to be a sympathetic, empathetic nurse who, could relate to the patient and try to help them feel better about being in the hospital, because it's not a fun experience. So I just try and I strive for that, to be better than the rough nurse that I had.
Well, shout out to the compassionate, wonderful, empathetic nurse that you had. Yay. Do you still know that nurse?
Yes, actually, I saw her. I saw her about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. I ran into her at a restaurant, and we reconnected. So that was really cool.
That's really cool. Now, did you ever think about nominating her for the Daisy Award?
Yes, but at the time we did not do daisies. So unfortunately, she does not work at the hospital that I'm working at anymore. So I would have to find her and, go through the whole process. But absolutely, now that I am aware of what a daisy is and how it is, I would absolutely nominate her for a Daisy because she absolutely deserves it.
The Shift is brought to you by SE Healthcare. Is burnout costing your organization its best nurses? How do you know? SE Healthcare can help. Our evidence-based approach helps nurse leaders boost retention, enhance job satisfaction, and bring joy back into our great profession. In addition, it helps elevate quality patient care, because when the people taking care of the people are at their best, patients get the care they deserve. We can reduce burnout by an impressive 50%. Are you ready to uncover burnout's impact on your team? Visit sehealthcaresolutions.com, The Shift, for your free assessment today. So tell us, Kirbee, about when you received the Daisy Award. And by the way, there are, I believe, over 6,000 Daisy hospitals across the globe. So you're one of, I mean, there's so many incredible, extraordinary nurses out there that have received the Daisy Award. Did you know what the Daisy Award was when you received it?
I knew very little about the Daisy because it was about, I think, maybe 1 to 2 years old at my hospital right now. So it's not really something we had going and learned about until recently. And when other nurses received a Daisy, we're so busy that I never was able to be a part of their little ceremony or anything like that. So nominated and receiving it was a total shock. And I learned so much, and I have done so much research into the Daisy Foundation. It's really a great organization, and I'm so excited to be a part of it.
Well, I'm excited to be one of you because we're honorees. We're like sisters already, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So will you tell all the shifties that are listening? You started to tell me a little earlier, we both got choked up. We're probably going to get choked up again, and it's okay. We can be vulnerable, but talk a little bit about the nomination, who wrote the nomination. We'll talk about that first. And then how did that shift your career? What was the impact of the Daisy Award? But tell your story first.
So I had a patient who came in with altered mental status. And of course, I'm on a neuro floor. So the first thing they want to do is rule out a stroke. So he comes to my floor, and a doctor comes in and tells him that he has a brain tumor and that it is an aggressive form of brain cancer. Well, he is alone in a room, and he has no idea what this doctor just told him. So he's confused, and I was in his room with the doctor, telling him this diagnosis. And he just looks at me and says, "What does that mean?" And I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And I just looked at him and I said, "It just means that it's the cause of your, confusion." And I said, I didn't want to say too much because I knew he was upset. And he started crying. And I said, "Is there anyone that you would like to call?" And he said, "Yes, I want to call my daughter." And his daughter, Lorette, is actually the one who nominated me. And so I helped him call his daughter.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to call timeout for a second. Do you have the tissues from your Daisy bag?
I do.
Because we need them right now.
I know.
That's amazing. That's so funny. Okay. There you go.
So we called his daughter, who was in Pennsylvania at the time. And she says, "Kirbee, do I need to come down there?" And I said, "Yes, you do. You need to come pretty quickly." And I didn't tell her any details. I just told her that her father was sick and she needed to come down here. And she says, "Well, I'm on the next flight out, but I have to book a hotel." And she said, "I'll be getting in around midnight. I'm going to have to find a hotel that will, accommodate me." And I said, "Don't even think about that." I said, "Don't even think about a hotel. I will make you a bed in his room, You just come straight to the hospital. I will tell security that you'll be here, and you just come straight to his room and be with your father. And she did. She came to the hospital and stayed with her father that night. And I met her the next day. And she is such a beautiful human being. And she has such a beautiful soul. And he was there with me for a week, and it happened to be cruising the coast that week. And all he wanted to do was go and see the old cars. He was going to, the doctor told him, neurosurgeon came in and said, we can go in and we can try to remove the tumor as much as possible, but it's in an area that we won't be able to get it all out. And it's also an aggressive form of brain cancer that originated in the brain. And it's, the chances of survival are low. And he looked at her and said, I do not want treatment. And that was very hard for both of us because that's her father, her best friend. And she expressed how close that they were. It was, I believe that they came in on a Thursday. So Friday, the doctors came in and said, they wanted to operate, but they wouldn't be able to do anything until Monday. So that weekend, I spent the weekend getting to know them, and they told me lots of stories, childhood, all kind of things. And he told her he did not want any kind of radiation or chemo or anything of that nature. He was going to let them biopsy the tumor to confirm that it was cancerous, but he did not want to be treated for it. So I told them, I took them a wheelchair and I told her to take him outside, get some fresh air, go look at the old cars, and we would worry about it later. So the whole weekend, they just went outside and enjoyed the cars and the beach and, the scenery. And on Monday, he had his biopsy, and it confirmed that it was cancerous. And he chose not to have treatment. So they were supposed to come. She asked me to be his nurse when he came out of ICU. And they bypassed me and went to our step-down unit. So I was going to pick him up. My whole entire nursing coworkers, everyone, my lead made arrangements for me to have an open bed so that I could have him back when he came out of ICU. Well, that didn't happen. So the next day, he was supposed to come out of the step-down unit. They arranged for me to have an open bed for him to come. That didn't happen. They said he's going to rehab straight from the step-down unit. And Lorette came down, his daughter came and found me on my unit and said, I cannot believe this. We are not coming to you. We are going straight to rehab. And she was very upset. And I said, Lorette, I will come up there. So me and my nursing friends went to the step down and saw him. And when I walked in the room, he just lit up and he was so excited. And he said, oh, my girl's here. My girls are here. And he gave me the biggest hug. And Lorette snapped this photo of us in his room. And we just enjoyed each other's company for a while. I went back to my hall and he went to rehab. And he did not have the best experience at rehab. And, I talked to Lorette and she was just very upset with how they were just handling everything. We went back down to the rehab to find him. And of course, he lit up again. So it was we became a family so fast. That night, I had him, before she came down, I had him in the hallway at the nurse's station with me, because he was in his room crying all day when he found out that he had this tumor, and he was confused. And I had him with me, and I said, just hang out with me, and we'll just take your mind off of it. And when Lorette called me, she said, is that my dad laughing in the background? And I said, it is. We were telling jokes to each other and just cutting up in the hallway. And it was just, it was an amazing thing because I've never really had a bond that strong with any other family or patient. I mean, I've connected with people, but never really that strong. And it felt like we've known each other forever. And it felt like we were just a part of each other's lives and didn't even know it.
How, I have to ask, when you got the Daisy Award, how did she nominate you? Did someone mention the Daisy Award? Did leadership rounding say we have the Daisy Award? Here's how you nominate your nurse. How's that work?
Well, when he was in the step down progressive care unit, when we went to see him, she asked if there was any way he told his daughter, the patient told his daughter, he said, this woman needs a raise. I mean, my girl is so awesome. She came and found me and saw me, and my my coordinator, the one who's in the picture, she actually gave Lorette the Daisy form to fill out. And I was unaware that it was just such a busy time. I didn't even expect her to even look at it or even think about it. But she did, and it was shocking.
Did they surprise you? Like, did you know you were getting the Daisy Award, or did you just?
I had no idea. I was very busy, and one of my texts said, come on, let's take a break. You're having a rough day. And I said, I don't have time to stop. I don't have time to stop. I'm too busy. And she said, Kirbee, you have to stop. You have to stop. You have to come with me. Let's just go take a breather. And when we got to the conference room, everyone was in there. All of the physical therapy crew, occupational therapy, speech therapy, everyone that I work with on a daily basis was in this room. And I still had no idea it was for me. I walked in and I said, oh, someone got a Daisy. Okay, so like this will be a nice break. And we were standing there up against the wall, and everyone had their phones out recording, but I thought they were recording the person next to me. And my heart was racing. And I said, Lindsay, what is happening? And she's like, oh, it's just a Daisy. It's just a Daisy. And I was like, okay. And then our CNO said my name, and I was like, what? There's no way. But I knew, I had a feeling that it was going to be from them, because it was just so emotional that week that he was there with us. And I just knew that it was her, because that's the kind of person that she is. She went above and beyond for us that week when her father was in the hospital, and she was out of state, out of her hometown. And she still went above and beyond that week to give us goodies, to bring us treats and snacks, and just show her appreciation.
Wow. And these Daisy stories, they never cease to amaze me and awe me and make me so proud, really, to be in this great profession. If we could just share with the fellow Shifties out there, as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Daisy Foundation, what are a couple things that you would say to people about how being a Daisy honoree kind of shifted your mindset? You have any thoughts on that?
I would say that nursing now is so much harder than it used to be. And getting this award nomination, it's a reminder that there are still people who care and appreciate everything that you do. And it is just a reminder of why we do what we do. And it's motivation to keep doing what you're doing and how you're doing it. And it's a reminder of, not putting any negative energy into nursing because of how it's changing negatively.
Right.
To stay positive in this hard environment.
I think that's really, really well said. I received the Daisy honoree, the Daisy Leader Award, and the shift it had for me is exactly what you described. It's validation. It's validation that what we do makes a difference, and we make a difference in someone's life every single day. And sometimes it's the little things that we don't even recognize that we do, that we really make a shift in that patient's recovery, a shift in that patient's care trajectory. And that's the beautiful power that the profession of nursing, I believe, has for all of us. And it's just it's a beautiful career. With that, I really want to say thank you so much for sharing your story. I'd love for you to encourage everyone to continue to nominate people for the Daisy. And then I think I'm going to say thank you to Mark and Bonnie and Tina, Melissa and Dr. Deb Zimmerman and everyone at the Daisy Foundation. And congratulations and happy 25th anniversary. I don't know if you have any words you want to throw out to them, but if you do, please do so.
I just want to say thank you so much for starting this, and thank you to them for starting this foundation. I'm just really excited and proud and humbled, and I'm just very appreciative.
Kirbee, thank you for all that you do, for being so compassionate and making a difference and making a shift that is so purposeful and so intentional. And with that, I want to remind all the shifties listening, your shift makes a difference. Enjoying the shift? Help us reach more nurse leaders by rating and reviewing us on your podcast app. It takes just a minute, but makes a big impact. Search for The Shift, tap those stars, and share what you love. Your feedback shapes our future episodes and helps others discover us. Remember, rate, review, and amplify The Shift today.